Welcome. I'm Hartaj Sir from New Careers Academy. Today, we're dissecting the architectural evolution of ancient India, focusing on the mechanics of how ideas solidify into stone. Observe this progression. We begin with a primitive, localized pile of earth, a simple grave. Over several centuries, that specific form expands into an elaborate, mathematically precise stone emblem of a major world religion. We need to analyze how that structural leap occurred. A common trap in competitive exams is the claim that the stupa concept is exclusively Buddhist. In reality, burial mounds existed well before the Buddha. Buddhism adopted, formalized, and systematized this pre-existing funerary practice. Emperor Ashoka catalyzed this systemization in the 3rd century BCE. As detailed in the Ashoka the king distributed the Buddha's bodily relics to every major town, ordering the construction of stupas to serve as sacred repositories. This relic distribution linked the physical structures to the Buddha's sacred geography, his birth in Lumbini, enlightenment in Bodh Gaya, the first sermon at Sarnath, and his Mahaparinibbana at Kushinagara. We have hard archaeological evidence of this imperial mapping. Roughly 200 years after the Buddha's death, Ashoka erected a specific stone pillar at Lumbini to mark the site of the Buddha's birth. By distributing relics across the subcontinent, Ashoka converted isolated, localized grave sites into a unified continent-wide network of ideological monuments. These technical plans of the Great Stupa at Sanchi show how Buddhist cosmology was translated into a physical map. The central feature is the Anda. This hemispherical mound represents the cosmic dome and functions as the primary chamber for the sacred relics. Resting on top of the dome is the Harmika. This square, balcony-like structure represents the abode of the gods and marks the transition into the celestial realm. The central pillar rising from the Harmika is the Yashti, the axis mundi. It supports the Chhatra volley, umbrella-like discs symbolizing royalty and the 3 jewels of Buddhism, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The boundaries are defined by the Toranas, or ornamental gateways, and the Vedika, the railing that separates the sacred interior from the secular world outside. Be careful with the term Gajalakshmi in exams. It is not a structural pillar. It refers specifically to a decorative motif, an ornamental garland design used in stupa embellishment. The architecture dictates the ritual of Pradakshina. A devotee enters through the eastern gateway and performs a clockwise circumambulation, keeping the stupa to their right as an act of devotion. Inscriptional evidence dispels the idea of exclusive royal funding. Donors included merchant guilds, like the ivory workers who funded Sanchi's gateways, along with ordinary citizens, monks, and nuns. The mature stupa is more than a building. It is a 3-dimensional architectural mandala designed to physically enforce theological discipline on the worshipper. The differing fates of 2 major sites show how archaeological practices shaped our modern understanding of the past. This is all that remains of the Amaravati Stupa. After its discovery in 1796, Amaravati was systematically looted. By 1854, Walter Elliot had removed many of its sculptures to Madras. These Elliot marbles were eventually shipped away to decorate British gardens and museums. Before its destruction, Amaravati featured unique regional variations, including a brick core built on a spoked wheel plan and 5 freestanding columns known as Ayaka pillars at each cardinal point. Compare that ruins with the Great Stupa at Sanchi, which remains largely intact with its monumental dome and surviving gateways. Sanchi survived because the archaeologist H. Cole championed in situ preservation. He successfully prevented its gateways from being dismantled and shipped to European museums. Our visual record of ancient India is heavily influenced by these 19th century decisions regarding which monuments to preserve and which to dismantle. Early Buddhist art followed a strict Aniconic rule. The Buddha is never depicted in human form in these early stone carvings. Instead, artists used specific symbols to indicate his presence: the empty seat, the Bodhi tree, the Dharma chakra, and the stupa itself. These relief panels communicate narrative theology to the public by depicting Jataka tales, stories of the Buddha's previous lives, such as the Vessantara Jataka. Despite the religious focus, we also see the assimilation of pre-existing folk motifs within these sacred boundaries. These figures are Yakshis and Shalabhanjika, fertility motifs showing a woman holding a tree, integrated directly into the gateways and railings. This integration created historiographical debates. Some identify the woman with elephants as the Buddha's mother, Maya, while others see the Hindu goddess Gajalakshmi. Early colonial interpretations, like those of James Ferguson, mislabeled these as simple tree and serpent worship. Early Buddhism expanded its reach by incorporating local village cult imagery into its own architectural vocabulary. In the 1st century CE, the rise of the Mahayana tradition introduced the deification of the Buddha and a shift toward anthropomorphic idols, seen in these Hellenistic-influenced Gandhara carvings. This shift emphasized the Bodhisattva ideal, the concept of a being who delays their own nirvana out of compassion to help others. This occurred alongside the growth of Puranic Hinduism, characterized by Bhakti and the worship of specific deities like Vishnu and Shiva. This new focus on idol worship required a shift in architecture from the open-air stupa to the structural temple. This form included a garbha griha to house the idol, a shikara or tower above it, and a mandapa hall for devotees. The structural temple reached a high level of complexity in sites like Khajuraho, where the architecture takes on a highly tiered, mountain-like profile. Parallel to this was the development of rock-cut architecture, which began with simple Ashokan caves for the Ajivaka sect. This tradition reached its peak at Ellora with the Kailashnatha Temple, a massive structure carved downward out of a single monolithic rock. Architecture follows theology. The abstract philosophy of early Buddhism built the domed mound, while the personalized devotion of Mahayana and Bhakti traditions necessitated the mountain temple and the inner sanctum. Let's finalize the high-yield takeaways. Sanchi, solid core, preserved in situ. Amaravati, spoked wheel plan, ayaka pillars, largely dismantled. Note the philosophical divide. Mahayana emphasizes deification and bodhisattvas. Theravada, or the older Thera tradition, adheres to the original symbolic representations. UPSC Trap 1. The stupa is pre-Buddhist in origin. It was not invented by Buddhism, but formalized by it. Trap 2. Kinjalkini is a decorative motif, not a structural component like a pillar. Trap 3. Sarvastivada and Samitya are Buddhist sects, not Jain. The Sarvastivadan doctrine holds that constituents of reality exist across the past, present, and future. Traps 4 and 5. Phanam refers to coins. The Jain 3 gems are Samyak Darshana, Jnana, and Charitra, right faith, knowledge, and conduct. Samyak karma is a distractor. Review these sample questions. See if you can identify the technical errors in the statements based on what we've discussed. The lion capital's abacus is not devoid of carvings. The phanam is a coin. The bodhisattva delays nirvana for others. Check your accuracy against the keys. I'm Hartaj Sir. Success in history exams depends on understanding the structural evolution of these ideas, not just memorizing the dates they appeared.